At the beginning of Mark 8:22, we have the story of Jesus healing a blind man. Maybe you remember this story. He stopped in Bethsaida and he healed this blind man, and he healed him in stages. He healed him a little bit so that he could see what he thought were trees walking around, which he knew were people, but he couldn't see them clearly. And then Jesus healed him even more so that he could see clearly. And then you get Jesus predicting his death 3 times, and then finally you have this text of Jesus healing blind Bartimaeus. So Jesus heals a blind man, Jesus predicts his death 3 times, Jesus heals a blind man. What's the sandwich trying to teach us? It's trying to teach us that in order to see Jesus clearly, you have to understand what true discipleship of Jesus looks like. And that before you understand that true discipleship, you are like a person who is partially healed in a sense. You can see some things, but you can't see them clearly. But once you understand what Jesus has come to do and what that means for you, and then what you are called to in your Christian life, you see him clearly. You understand him. And I think this is so important for us because just because of the time and place that we are in history, we have the ability to be a person who calls themselves a Christian, but doesn't understand Jesus. And so what this middle section of Mark's gospel is challenging us all to think is, am I a Christian because I think I'm a Christian? Because I call myself a Christian? Because my parents were Christians? Or because I understand what a life of discipleship looks like? I think particularly for Lutherans, this is a tough one because we love grace through faith, right? We love the freedom that comes from the gospel, the freedom that I talked about, I believe it was last Sunday when I said, you don't have to do anything, right? We love that freedom. But that freedom doesn't mean there's nothing left to do. No, we have time and skills and opportunities and vocations that allow us to live a life of discipleship of this Jesus who has given us everything for free. So if I could sum it up, what this text is teaching us is you can't and you won't be enough. By nature, you are blind, dead in your sin, unable to perceive Jesus. But the good news is that Jesus was enough for you. And not only was he enough, but he gave you the ability to believe in him, trust in him for life and salvation. And in the same way that Bartimaeus called to Jesus and Jesus gave him not just the forgiveness of sins, but complete healing, when you understand that Jesus is your only hope, Jesus will do the same for you. So, I realize this is a little bit shorter than the last couple sermons that I've preached. And partially that's to be fair to you guys. You're very kind in listening to me for more than 40 minutes some weeks. But it's also because I want you to just dwell on this main point. You can't and won't be enough, but Jesus was for you. And when you understand that, one of 2 things will happen. You will get offended because you believe you're pulling it off, you're doing pretty well, that the things that you're doing count for something. Or you will fall at Jesus' feet in worship because you understand that you never could have done it in the first place. And if you get to that second place, it will free you from all the anxiety. It'll free you from the anxiety that some of you young people have as you look forward to which school to go to or what career path to go down. To understand that you don't need to be enough. Jesus already was for you. And it's going to get rid of those fears and worries that some of you young parents have. As you look at your kids, you worry if you're going to be a good parent or they're going to turn out okay. Because Jesus isn't asking you to be a perfect parent. He is a perfect parent for them. He was enough for you. And it'll get rid of all that apprehension that some of you middle-aged folks have as you watch your kids starting to make big life choices, and you start to think about what's my purpose now in life, and do I have enough as I look forward to retirement? Jesus was everything you needed and continues to provide everything you need. And he will get rid of all of the worry that those of you who are closer to the end of your life have. First of all, about where you're going when you die, because the guarantee from Christ in your baptism is that you are saved. Your faith has saved you. And until that day, Jesus has a very important purpose for your life as well, to serve those around you and give them that same grace that you've been shown for your whole life. In a couple minutes, we're going to pray, and we're going to pray, Lord, have mercy, I think about 20 times, because that's the most ancient refrain of the Christian church. As we look back on first century worship, we see that the church time and time again would say, Kyrie eleison. It's Greek for Lord have mercy. Because they understood that is the most fundamental cry of a people who have been ravished by sin, but then saved by Jesus. And so not just today, but every day, say that in your prayers. Lord, have mercy. And he will.